What is happening, wonderful people? So last night I got a chance to go see Predator Badlands, and in this film, a young predator outcast from his clan finds an unlikely ally on his journey in search of the ultimate adversary. And that's all I can say without giving too much away. Let's talk about it.
What's your favorite scary movie?
So when it comes to the Predator franchise, I am a fan of this franchise. I am more of an Alien fan, even though they're kind of technically in the same vein, the same universe in a way, but I really am a big fan of this universe. I love this franchise. I mean, I love the original. I just watched the original for the first time maybe a few years ago, maybe 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, something like that, and I really enjoyed it. I absolutely love that film. It's so much fun. It's a spectacle for the time it was made in. I absolutely love it. And I recently just watched Predator 2 with Danny Glover a couple weeks ago. Absolutely abysmal. Not the worst film I've ever seen, but not good. And then you have all the other films. Predators with Adrian Brody. Absolutely adore that film. Absolutely love it. And then Predator 2018 is I like it more than most people. It's not great, it's not perfect, but there are some things that I really enjoyed about it. I had fun with that film. And then you have the animated one this year, Killer of Killers. Killer of Killers, I don't even know where to start with that film. I absolutely adored that film. And there's Prey as well, which I'm kind of in the minority on. But with Predator Badlands, I was going into this film knowing that Dan Trachtenberg is someone who gets the Predator franchise. Dan is someone who understands the lore, and I thought the trailers were great, I thought the marketing was great, and now after having seen the film, oh, holy crap, it's one of the best films of the year. So if you're new to my channel, or if you've been following my channel for a while, you know that I kind of talk about my positives first, and then I talk about my negatives later, because even when I like a film or if I dislike a film, I'm obviously going to talk about my positives and negatives, because sometimes I do need to be negative, sometimes I do need to be positive, because not all films are perfect. What film is? But with this film, I absolutely love this film. I knew I was going to love it. I was excited for it. It was one of my most anticipated movies of the year, and as someone who is a fan of this franchise, and as someone who really liked the trailers, I was looking forward to it, you know. And Dan Trachtenberg directed the animated film earlier this year, Killer of Killers, which is really, really good. It is. And he also directed Prey, which again, I'm not the biggest fan of it like most people, but it's one that I am really having the urge to watch again. And I feel like it's one of those things where, because Dan Trachtenberg directed Badlands and directed Killer of Killers, loved both of those films, I feel like if I watch Prey again, I might actually enjoy it more. And I feel like that's going to happen, and hopefully I'm right about that if I do watch it again, when I do. And with this film, again, it's not a perfect film, it's not, but there are some things that I absolutely freaking adore and love in this film. If you are a sci-fi fan, as myself, I'm a sci-fi fan, I am. If you're a sci-fi fan, you are going to be in heaven. You are going to be in heaven. You are going to cry tears of joy. I obviously didn't fully cry in the film. I didn't, because it's not really technically a sad film. But I was just sitting there, and I just had this just feeling in my stomach, in my chest. I was like, dude, I'm blown away. I'm blown away. And you know when you watch a film and it's so good, you have butterflies in your stomach or chest, right? That's the feeling I got last night, because of how awe-inspiring this film is, not just because of the movie it is, but how visually fantastic it is, how visually beautiful the aesthetic is, how visually beautiful the atmosphere is. And I love how epic in scale and scope it is. The scope and scale in this film are both massive, and you have to see it in Dolby and IMAX. If you are planning to go watch it in premium formats, not IMAX and Dolby, right? Just standard premium formats or whatever you call it. Y'all know what I mean. Please change your mind. Go watch it in IMAX and Dolby. Preferably IMAX. I mean, Dolby I recommend, but IMAX, you have to see in IMAX, because whether it's the cinematography, the visual aesthetic, the atmosphere, just the scope and scale, it's such an awe-inspiring film, and it's such a beautiful film to look at. And this is the first film in the Predator franchise. This is the first Predator film where the Predator himself, has been the protagonist, and he actually has personality. And I found myself, while I was watching the film, I was like, wow, this is actually working. Like, this is actually really working for me. And the thing is, too, Dan Trachtenberg in this film, he takes bold swings. He does. And this is a very unique Predator film but the uniqueness of it works. The uniqueness of it works. And I said bold swings. And I talked about how Dan takes risks in this film. And he swings for the fences, right? Every bit of it works. Every bit of it works. And the main character in here, Deck, who was our main Predator, super likable character. I mean, he's on a quest for revenge, and he meets up with Elle Fanning's character. And Elle Fanning, at first I thought her character was kind of annoying. I thought she was kind of obnoxious, but towards the end, when it starts to get to the end of the film, you actually feel for her character and you learn more about her. So I thought she was really great in here. And it's just, the sound design in here too is just so popping. It is so, that's what I mean by Dolby. See it in IMAX. You have to see this film in IMAX. But if you want to get that sound, if you want to immerse yourself in the sound in the world, which the world building in here is great too. The world building is absolutely phenomenal in here. See it in Dolby. Like, I really think that, and the pacing is good for the most part as well. I think the pacing is good for the most part. And the action's great. I think it's brutal, it's intense, and it is PG-13. This is the first PG-13 Predator film we've seen, minus the abysmal Alien versus Predator films. The first one's okay. The second one I couldn't even finish, but you know, it is what it is. But I think that the action is violent. It is brutal and intense, and it's thrilling at times as well. And you know, I really think that the performances in here were great. And you know, it's quite surprisingly heartfelt as well. And you'll understand why when you see the film, because I don't want to give too much away. You know, I don't want to spoil anything, because there is something that happens in the beginning, and you'll see it. You'll know what I mean when you watch the film. You'll be like, oh, that's what he was talking about. That kind of sets course for the plot, right? And it does make for a very heartfelt film in a way. And I thought it was beautifully shot. I thought it was super unique, you know, and it swings for the fences, and it's my favorite film in the franchise. It is, even over the original, because my top 4, this is my favorite. My second is Killer of Killers, the animated one earlier this year, and then Predators with Adrian Brody. Love that film. And my 4th is the original. The original is one of the greatest films ever made. And I don't know if that's controversial. I don't know. I saw a list the other day randomly on Twitter for some random person. I don't know who it is, but they had Predators over the original, I believe. I was like, oh, so I'm not the only one then. I'm not the only one. But there are some really, really good things about this film. But while I did absolutely love this film overall, there are a few nitpicks that I have, but I really barely have any, so I'll kind of talk about them quickly because I don't really have that much, you know. I will say, I think while the pacing was good for the most part, it really was. I was not bored. It's a very entertaining thrill ride. The action keeps you entertained. Just the scope and scale. Scope and scale keeps you entertained. Whether it's the sound design and the score. The score is beautiful in here. The score is that regular, you know, that Predator score, the Predator score from the original that you've known, and it feels like they added a little bit more to it, so it's kind of unique in its own merit, in its own sense as well. But it's just, while the pacing is good, I feel like at times, barely, it did drag at times. It started to drag, but barely, man. And I really think that, you know, there is some surprisingly good humor in here, and I think mainly from Elle Fanning's character, you know, because she's very talkative and she's very, you know, all over the place, and she's starting to make jokes back and forth, you know, and just when she's talking to Deck and all that, you know. And I feel like some of the humor does land. It is funny at times, and not over the top, not too much, but I feel like it can be a little too goofy at times. I started to notice, I was like, okay, it's maybe a little too goofy at times, but even then, it didn't take me out of the film. Like, there wasn't a time where I was like, yeah, this is taking me out of the film. It really didn't. And while I did enjoy the story, I will say the structure of the narrative and the flow of the narrative, I wasn't the biggest fan of how the story flowed, right? And I wasn't the biggest fan of how the story was structured, like the structure of the story, right? And I feel like at times, the overall narrative didn't know where it wanted to go. It just it didn't really pause. It didn't pause, right? But it just didn't really know where it wanted to go. And I feel like really, I only felt that. I only noticed that. I say felt that, but I only noticed that when, I think towards the end of the first act, somewhere in the beginning of the second act. So it really, after that, starts to get going and it doesn't let up. So yeah, overall with Predator Badlands, I absolutely love this film. I think this is another really great film in the franchise, and I really hope that Dan Trachtenberg makes more Predator films. If they are making more Predator films, which I think they're making a Prey 2 and they're making another Alien vs. Predator film, he needs to direct every other Predator film that comes out, because he is just an absolute genius. He knows what he's doing. He gets the lore. He gets the franchise. You can tell he's a fan. So with Predator Badlands, I am going to give this film a 4.5 out of 5 stars. And with Predator Badlands, I will say definitely dedicate your time. If you're a fan, you are going to absolutely love this. I'm telling you. So that'll wrap up this video. Thank y'all so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, like, comment, share in this video. We just hit 1K subs a while back. We're now at 1.1K. Next big milestone is 2K and 3K after that and beyond that as well. And if you're new as well, I do movie reviews, TV show reviews, trailer reactions, movie live streams, movie rankings, movie news, all that wonderful movie stuff under the movie umbrella. And let's talk about it in the comments down below. Did y'all like this film? Did y'all not like it? What's y'all's favorite film in the franchise? What's y'all's least favorite film in the franchise? Let's talk about it down below. Keep talking movies, wonderful people. Cheers.